Now, Sandy, this is a real good example of a peat moss bog. I know you said you have never seen a peat moss bog and didn't know much about a peat moss bog. So what happens is a bunch of debris and stuff, wood, branches, whatever, are stuck in the water, and it slowly decomposes, and more debris catches on top of it and it pushes it down. And then what happens is gases will escape as it's trying to rot. So every once in a while you will see, and I just saw several of them, every once in a while the peat moss, as it's trying to decay, will release gases, and the gases will bubble to the surface. So let me see if I can find another one. There you go. The peat moss is releasing the gases. Now, even though I am a few feet away from the bog where my house is situated, I can hear the gases escaping. It'll make noises at night, and it's kind of cool, actually. It's fun to watch. But they'll release it, and then they will continue to build up until it needs to be released again, right? See it bubbling? See that bubble? Oops, it just popped. But that's what a peat moss bog is, and it's very deep and it's very dangerous because the peat moss is decomposing, so it does not allow the ice to form very thick and very safe. It's a soft ice, and you never know where it's going to be just snow cover on top and very thin ice, because as the peat moss tries to decompose, it's releasing gases even in the wintertime, and that heat rises, right, and it comes up and it forms very thin ice, very unsafe ice, very soft ice. So that's why a peat moss bog is very dangerous to walk on, and that's what I live on, is a peat moss bog. So, whew, I just got wet, folks. Can you hear that? So, folks, I am walking down this road here, right? My tripod is down there, and I was walking. I knew there was a wire fence here, but you know what? The pine needles have fallen, and look at that. Old property line. So I'm going to come back here, and this isn't the only one I found. I found one with my foot. So that blends right in. It looks just like a dead twig, you know. So I've got to go home and see if I did any damage to my foot. I think, well, down there, I'll show you. It went right straight through my sole and into my foot, and I had just gotten my feet wet from the bog, so I've got to go home and clean it if I punctured it. It came close if I didn't. So look at that, that blends right in. That should be painted, spray painted. And I'm right up next to the road, folks. That needs to be spray painted orange. Look how old it is. It's just brittle. Orange or yellow. I've got orange spray paint. So if we keep walking, see that? Look. They used to be on a fence post. The fence post is long rotted. See, it's just breaking, folks. So, look at that. So that is very dangerous. That's a trip hazard. Up here with a four-wheeler, that could do some damage. I've already pulled that one up right there. That's not the one that got my foot. But see, it looks just like a twig, and that's just old rusty wire. So here's some more. See that? Not good, not good. And this here wire, keep going. This is the one that got my foot right here, that point right there. So I'm going to come back with some spray paint, and I'm going to dig around and make sure I find anything, any wire that's exposed, and paint it. But right now I've got to pick up my tripod and go home and check my foot. See, that's how easy, that is how easy one can get hurt. And you know, old rusty wire is really, really not good, right? Now you look, this here is, let me see if I can show you. That's the wire, and that's a twig. Look at that, see? And that's what I thought I was seeing. So, not good, folks, not good. So I'm going to leave that standing right up. And is this wire, or is it, no, that's a stick. See how easy you can trip over it? You think it's just a twig, and it is old, rusty fencing, folks. Here's another one right here. I'm about ready to sit on that stump and check my foot because I'm quite a ways from home. I want to make sure it's not punctured. But see, I was just up there, right? Standing that fence line up that was exposed, and there's a dying back sarsaparilla plant, and look what's coming out of the sarsaparilla plant. Right underneath it, you can't even see it. Look at that, huh? Not good, folks, not good, not good. Now, I'm not sure if that wire is exposed because, see, there it is, it's going around this tree, because we hauled firewood out of here. See, look at that, see, it's standing right straight up. Now, it looks like somebody came through here and found that fence line and pulled it up, actually, because this was not exposed, and we did not cut wood up in here for firewood. So somebody's been through here and stood that property line up. Now I will talk to my stepdad, see if he did that. And if he did that, I'm going to ask him why he didn't bring a can of spray paint, so it'll stick out so no one gets hurt, right? As far as I know, I'm the only one that walks up here in the family. No one else walks up here in the family. So, and again, I'm up way up closer to the road than I am at home. But I'm going to sit on that big old pine stump and check my foot. Alright, so I checked my foot, and where it felt like the end of that fence wire went into my foot, it didn't, but it came powerfully close. It went through the sole of my sneaker, and it left it didn't even scrape the skin, folks, but it left a nice red mark. So if I had stepped any harder, it probably would have broke the skin. So I'm not liking that. So this has got to be done today. Today this has got to be done. I'm not pleased with whoever pulled this up and didn't mark the wire. I'm just not pleased with that, folks. So I will remedy that. So one, I won't do that again. And two, nobody else will do that either, right? That wire is very old, folks. Very, very old. The posts of the 4x4 post, or the cedar post, actually. Some of them were cedar posts, have long since rotted. And you all know that cedar holds up pretty good being wet. So That fence has been there for probably way back in my grandfather's time. So, as you can see, it is very easy to get hurt, even though you know you are in familiar territory. I have walked this road so many times, hundreds and hundreds of times, folks. I've walked it in snowstorms. I've walked it several, probably more at night than I do during the day. I walk it all year round, and that's the first time that I have tripped over that old boundary line. So I was very lucky. I didn't get hurt. I was very lucky I didn't fall and hurt myself. I'm very lucky that even though that rusty old rotten fence went through the sole of my sneaker, it did not go through my skin, right, and into my foot. That would not have been good. I would have had to have gone and gotten an updated tetanus shot, right. So it's very easy to get hurt in the woods. Now I am way up here and nobody knows I am up here, but I do have my cell phone. But what if I had fallen and got really hurt and I could not have gotten to my phone or whatnot? They would eventually probably come looking for me up here, but at what time? How long would that take? You know, my vehicle's at my house. I walked up here from my house. The traffic way out, they cannot see me. They definitely could not hear me because, you know, they're traveling down the road. I am a long ways from anybody that could hear me, even if I hollered for 2 days, folks. All right, so even though I'm very careful, I can still get hurt, folks. And usually what I do is I let Cousin Shay know that I'm walking up to that end or down the other end or where I am going. I did not do that this time, folks, and I just don't know why. Probably because I'm not feeling all that great, maybe. I don't know. But there's ample ways to get hurt, and lesson learned, folks. Lesson learned, and sometimes I need those reminders, and I was lucky this time. So, right, we're never too old to be reminded of things that we coulda, shoulda, woulda done, right? And that's a real good example. If you're not feeling good, and then more things are apt to go wrong. That just seems like Murphy's Law, right? So lesson learned, and I'll try to be more mindful of that. You can't be too careful, folks. You can't. You know, I knew of a lady years and years ago, knew of her, that simple splinter in her hand. She got a simple splinter in her hand, folks, and it became infected. And she had blood infection, and she ended up dying just from a simple sliver, folks, that she tried very hard to heal herself and to treat herself, and she waited too long, like most of us probably would and do, before we went and sought professional medical help. And by then it was too late, folks, right? And she was quite young when she died of that splinter. She was very healthy. So simple things as a rusty wire can kill you. A simple thing as a splinter can kill you. Minor things can really do you a lot of damage. That's why if it's a minor scrape, you make sure that you clean it really good and you cover it, right? Anything minor could literally kill you, folks. So be mindful of that, all right? And treat those simple scratches, treat those simple splinters. Get that splinter out there. Get all of the splinter out of it. And watch your step, okay? Watch your step, folks.